excited to be here with you. Hopefully that volume's going to go down a little bit so that my screaming at you does not hurt. But I am so happy to be with you here today. And knowing that I was going to be after lunch, knowing there was going to be a little dance-off, I think that means you're all ready, right? You guys all ready? Ready for play? Because here's the deal. I'm big on play. All right, I know that I learn better and I retain the information longer when I'm having fun. And today we're talking specifically about impact. Now, people ask me all the time, what's the deal with impact? Like, why is that your niche? Like, why is that your shtick, right? Here's the thing. As you heard, I started out my career 27 years ago working in a startup, and I was there for a decade. And I bring this up because it was fintech. Now, you all know it now. It's Discover Card. But at the time, we were this little idea, and every time we talked about it, people were like, are you part of the Discovery Channel? Right? Nobody knew who we were. And so it was this amazing sort of renegade, crazy journey that we were on. And I used to, I was like 18 when I started. I was literally a college kid, right? So I knew nothing. And so I was starting this journey, and I was just watching everybody. Now, I'm not a watcher, I'm actually a doer. I'm a talker, but I was intimidated by what I was seeing, right? There were certain people that would walk into the room, and everybody would start to smile. Everybody would relax a little bit. There were certain people on certain teams that when they were leading it, everybody wanted to be on it. There was this magical thing that I couldn't put my fingers on, and I know you know what I'm talking about. There are people that you work with right now that when they walk through the room, everybody kind of starts laughing, right? Hey, look who's here. And I started to notice that those are the people who were being chosen to lead more. They were being promoted faster than other people. And what I started to notice is that they had a greater impact. Now, they weren't necessarily older, more mature. They didn't necessarily have more, accolades on their resume. They were liked. And there was something magical happening with the way they interacted with the people around them. So I started calling them impact makers. Now, this goes back 27 years, and I've spent my entire career trying to figure out what is that magic zhuzh? Like, what's that thing that they have, right? And here's why I wanted to learn more. I wanted to really figure out the science behind this. Because those people are having more fun. It's not about the money, but that's there. It's not about the power, but they have that too. It's not about the, accolades on front of the stage or whatever, all the ego-boosting stuff, although that's a part of it. They're having more fun. And not only that, more is coming to them than anyone else. And it's this magic fairy dust thing, seemingly, that they have. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about this whole idea of being a maverick, a renegade, or an impact maker. And I'm going to share with you the science behind that magic. Because here's the thing. Every one of you can do this. Every one of you can adopt these traits. People ask me all the time, first question I usually get asked right out of the gate is, great leadership born or made? Right? Like, that's the question we all want to know. We've been discussing this forever. And here's what I'm going to tell you. The theory around leadership being something you're born with is baloney. And I want to use a better B word. Right? It's baloney. It's baloney. People are not born into leadership. You are born with killer traits that are awesome, right? That are totally unique and cool into sort of your own thing. But you are not born a leader. You learn to be a leader. So when I was growing up, I was the young one. I was also in a family of boys. So in my family, there were 3 sisters who had 8 kids. 7 of them were boys, and then there was me, and I was at the bottom of the barrel. So I bring this up because I've been fighting for my place since literally, first couple breaths. And these boys and I were all raised in the same little town of 35,000 people. So we all went to the same schools, and we're all within like 6 years of each other. We were all on teams or cheering for the teams, right? And we were always together. They were my first best friends, but I was always fighting. I bring this up because as I got into school, there was still that fighting thing that I had. I was too aggressive, I was too feisty, I was too mouthy, I wouldn't sit in my seat, teacher told me to, I'd use great fingers to talk to her, not knowing I wasn't allowed to, true story. So I got sent home with lots of letters pinned to my shirt. If you were over 50, you get that reference, right? So I was literally told by my teacher, my mom was, that she needed to break my spirit. Thankfully she didn't. Thankfully she liked how sort of, scrappy I was. But I bring this up because I was always given the mean teachers in school. And I knew that I was getting the tough teachers every year, right? Because it's the one you don't want when you're a little kid. And yet this one year, 5th grade, I got the scariest teacher in the whole school. Now, she was probably, and I met her years later as an adult, she was about 5'11". So she was a tall lady, for sure. But it was more than that. She was like 130. So she seemed ancient to like a little, maybe 8, 9, 10, whatever age that is, year old me, right? She had really curly hair, and it was gray, and it was like a triangle right here, okay? And she had the longest nails you've ever seen in your life. And I will never forget, they were yellow because she was a smoker. No judgment. But the point is, those yellow nails haunt me, right? Because she was just this big, imposing figure. Now, the reason I bring this up to you is because first day of school, every teacher calls off every kid in the roll, right? And I am Jennifer Buck. And she comes to me, and the kid always, puts their hand up in the air and tells the teacher what they want to be called. So my hand goes flying up, and I say, my name's Jenny. And she looked over her scary glasses and said to me, in my classroom, you're Jennifer. And I was like, God, this is the year I was going to change too, And so I sat there determining, that I didn't like her. I knew it. She's going to be horrible. We go through that whole shebang with all the kids. Now it's time for first recess. She has all the kids lined up, and she says, except for Jennifer Buck. I'm thinking, I didn't even do anything. So I sat in my seat while everybody's lined up, and they all go out to recess, and she comes and she sits in front of me in the little tiny desk right in front of me. And she says to me, Jennifer, I have a favor to ask you. So I said, okay. She said, I've been told that you're the smartest student in this school. And you're also all of the children's favorite schoolmate. I said, do you mean Jennifer Shepherd? And she said, no, I mean you, Jennifer Buck. I've been told you're the smartest and everyone's favorite. And I just thought, don't say a word. If this is what she thinks, this is great, right? This is great. So she says to me, okay, what I'd like, here's the favor, what I'd like is for you to be my assistant all year long. You're gonna be running copies for me, old people, 50 years old. Do you remember the copy machine? Chicka, chicka, chicka. When you have to roll the coffee, you guys, where are my old people? Yes, oh, of course it's you. Yes, I remember from last night, yes. Okay, so, listen, making copies was a full body experience. I mean, you had to do this, it was the greatest, right? And so I got to run copies, I got to pass out homework, I got to pick up papers, I got to take things to the office. That's what she was asking me to do. And she said, will you do this for me? Because I don't think there's another student in the class that has the capacity to do this. And I said, I would love to. Yes, I absolutely would love to. And she said, wonderful, that's your job from here until the end of the year. You have a little bit of time left for recess. Go ahead and run out to recess. And I walked out starry-eyed, you guys, knowing I had pulled off the heist of my life, right? Because clearly she meant Jennifer Shepherd, not me. But then again, there are 14 other Jennifers in the 70s classrooms, right? So it could have been any of them. So here's the deal. I became her assistant. And not only did I become her assistant, but all of a sudden I started turning around. I started actually enjoying school. I started doing what I was supposed to do, listening in class. See, here's the thing I sort of left out, is that I was in trouble for vandalizing. I would put toilet paper, water, ceiling. Do you guys remember? Just boom, and it would stick to the ceiling, right? I was caught so many times vandalizing, biting. I was terrible. But remember, survival of the fittest, 7 boys. So, I say all of this to tell you that somehow by the end of that year I had straight A's and O's for outstanding. For the first time in my life, I liked going to school and I had friends. For the first time in my life, I wasn't spending my recess on the principal's floor writing, "I will not do something" 300 times, right? I know some of you are part of my community. I hear you, I see you. You're sitting by me. So I say it because I was not that kid. That was 5th grade. I was a kid that was acting out because frankly I was lost in the pack. I had a brother who could do no wrong. And then there was me. And then I had all these boys that were super athletic and super great. And then there was me just trying to be seen, right? And somehow, Mrs. Carter's Jedi mind trick totally worked on me. And by the end of that year, I was a changed kid. For the rest of my life, I was a changed kid. Because one woman decided to make me feel seen. Was I the smartest? Of course not, right? Was I the kid that all the others liked? No. But she knew how to make me feel seen. And it was that woman that turned the page in my life. I bring this up because I am a leader. From that grade on, I was involved in school politics and leading teams and wanting to be the head of all the things I could be a part of, right? Because everybody liked me and I'm the best student in the room. Clearly, I was still believing all this crap, right? But I say this to you because I was not meant to be here had I continued to follow that path. I turned into this person because one teacher saw me. So when we talk about leadership, when we talk about these people who are mavericks and renegades, impact makers, superstars, I promise you, they were not born. They were made. They committed to it. They learned how to do it. They went through the steps of learning how to work with people, how to make sure they're making the right choices, communicating effectively, dealing with conflict well, right? They went through the steps. See, here's the thing that I want you to know. When it comes to, oh boy, I don't have a clicker, so we're just going to go and try it this way. Oh, there it is. Sorry. All right, here we go. Here's the deal. Oh, he's right. All right, here's the deal. When we have something unique, special, different, and memorable about us, it makes us top of mind. Now, that doesn't mean I'm the best communicator, doesn't mean I'm the best leader, and it doesn't even mean that I'm the best at dealing with conflict. It means that there's something about me that makes me stand out. When I was studying those leaders over the years, almost 7 years now, of making an impact and being out there and doing extraordinary things, I wanted to know what was it that made them tick. And the difference between each of these people, weirdly, was different. It wasn't that they all had one set of characteristics on a list. That's not what it was. They all did something that was so uniquely cool and different and memorable that I couldn't help but lean in and go, I like them. I like something happening over there. And that's the differentiator. When it comes to being an impact maker and standing out and being top of mind, it's that you have something, some special sauce that moves people. See, impact is about making people feel. If you think about it, so I told you, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been trying to find the parallels. And where does this show up in other areas? Now, we hear about branding, social media branding all the time now, right? We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but not from the branding perspective. Well, we hear about branding, and we've even heard about personal branding, right? But I want you to think about this. Where I see parallels in impact, making an impact, is actually in television and movies, in Hollywood. In Hollywood, they use the concept of being unique and different and showing you something you've never seen before to make you lean in and go, huh, all the time. In fact, they do it so well that we knuckleheads will watch a show, Game of Thrones, and wait 3 years for the next season, right? Because they're able to use impact so well. Maybe you watch reality TV. We know who you Bravo people are. Maybe you watch a certain series. Could be anything. Some Yellowstone, yes. 1923, 1883. Yes, yes. So maybe you're someone who's watching a series and they have you wait, and you do. In fact, you don't just wait. You go and resubscribe to Paramount Plus, right? So you're willing to put 15 more bucks down, bam, for that 2-year wait. You're willing to. Why? Because of the impact. Because people have mastered differentiation, knowing what makes them unique and different, people flock to them. I want you right now to think about somebody that you know, someone who seems to have the it factor. Everybody likes them. Someone who everybody just seems to be happier around them. No matter what they try, they get it. They raise their hand, they're being called. Who in your world is kind of what I'm describing here? Think about them right now. Are they vivacious? Are they just cool, chill, laid back? Are they smarter than anyone? Are they sarcastic? Are they funny? Are they willing to dance like Sean and go crazy just to make other people laugh, right? Everybody has a thing, and everything is a differentiator. So people say to me all the time, Jen, okay, this is great. I can do the impact thing, but I am not an extrovert. Greatest news ever, there is no rule to making an impact. Remember, what impact is being top of mind. It's being the first person I think about. It's being the person that I remember of the sea of people I was around. The first person that I go, I loved them. Yes, his name was, right? That's impact. So when we talk about the parallels between getting people to possibly do something they wouldn't normally do because something they love has come back, that's impact. I want you to think about movies. Think about every single movie that you watch. In the first 5 minutes, they have the greatest, destructive, holy hell how they do that kind of scene, right? In every movie you see, first 5 minutes. Oh my God, look how they blew that up, right? Oh my God, did that really just happen? They drop you right in the middle of it. Why? Because that's impact. Because people will keep watching. If you give me too much backstory, I get bored. So when we think about what impact is and how it actually translates into the real world, what I want you to know is that when it comes to leadership, it's about making sure that what you give, how you show up, how you treat other people, makes them feel good when you're walking out the door. Ultimately, impact is when you set me back on my heels and make me go, who is this? And every one of you have the ability to do that. It's not extroversion, it's not introversion. It's not being a comedian versus being a dancer. It's being someone who is uniquely different, who is somehow differentiated from the pack, somehow memorable. See, the reason this matters, and I'll start where I began in the beginning here. Start where I began in the beginning. That one was not choreographed. The fact is, people who are impact makers are having more fun. They're loving what they're doing, they're loving why they're doing it, and they're loving who they're doing it with. Impact makers are people who are chosen to do more of what they love, lead more of what they love, enter into rooms because of the way they move people. It's not effort, it's effervescence. right? It's not extroversion or introversion. It's an effervescence. It's something unique and different. Here's the key. You have it. Every one of you in this room has it. It's your it factor. Every one of you. I want you to consider this. As you look at these people up here, they're world shakers. They all contributed something that's unique and different, that changed somehow the course of the medium that they were working within. Now I know what you're like, seriously, Kim Kardashian? Really? But think about what she did to reality TV. Love her or not, like her or not, right? She did something to the way people watch TV. But think about the people that we have on this image here. Vastly different. Science, technology. You have social impact, right? You've got religion, you've got television, comedian, right? You've got all sorts of different people. Politics up there. And what is it that they all sort of have in common? What is it that they all did? They all made us feel. So if you can take anything from this today, what I want you to remember is, impact is how you make people feel. When you can move people, you can get more out of them. When it is inauthentic, they shut down. So this is not about manipulation. It's about your authentic way to move another human being, right? It's about how you show up, how you contribute, how you support. Every one of these people, from completely different backgrounds and even time frames in life, right? And yet every one of them, every single one of them, had a superpower. And that superpower was impact. So what does this all come down to? Because ultimately, you and I have got to figure out what your superpower is. And the most important thing I could say is that it starts with you and your inner game. This is about you figuring out, what is my special sauce? What's my thing, right? What is it that I do? What is it that's different about me? Unique, cool, memorable. What is that thing? The first thing I would tell you is this. Many of us are still walking to the beat of a drum that someone gave us a long time ago. You've worn out the beat. It's long past its due date, and some of you are still believing it, right? Some of us are still dutifully walking that path, even though it doesn't feel good, even though it doesn't fit anymore, even though it's not what we believe. We're walking it because it's what they told us we're supposed to do. It's who they told us that we were supposed to be. It's the belief system we were supposed to have. And I'm here to tell you this. The most extraordinary thing about you is your authenticity. It's that magic that just occurs when you are having a conversation and completely at ease. That authentic thing, that magic, that juju, that's the stuff that moves people. Because impact is how you move other people. This is why when we look, for instance, at the Hollywood industry, it's why they will wait for 3 years for something and then plop down more money to have a little bit of that week after week, right? Because it makes me feel something. And so I want you thinking about for yourself, what doesn't serve me anymore? And then the flip side of this is, what's my magic? What's my thing? What's the thing that I do that nobody else can do, that people love about me, and it always seems to come up? And when I'm getting reviewed, or I'm being introduced, or when someone says I have to meet somebody and go on a date, they're always bringing up this one thing. What's your one thing? That's it. That's the thing. That's the it that we're talking about. Because each and every one of you have it. In fact, I bet you have about 5. And so it's about figuring out for yourself, what's your magic? What's that superpower? I know that my superpower is my energy. I know that, right? But if you were there last night, you know, I'm not always like this, I swear to God. Okay? I'm not always this high energy. But I know my energy is my superpower. I know my quick brain, in terms of communication, is my superpower. 10 years ago, I probably couldn't have told you either one of those. Because it's a process to get to the point to be able to say, yep, I know that this is the part of me that's on steroids. I know this is the part of me that I don't even nurture, I don't even work on it, it just comes flying out on me authentically, right? And so every one of you have that. What I'm trying to get you to realize is, what is it that you need to own? What is it that you need to lead with? What is it that more people need to know about you and who you are? What is it that's literally a key that unlocks so much around you and you've never tried that key? See, that's the thing. Every single one of you have the same things I have. We all have the same ability to do great in the world. We all have the same desires to do our best, provide well for our family, live a good life. We all have those same things. But you have a set of keys that I don't. And that set of keys makes you magic. It's your magic. And if you're going to get to the next level, if you're going to walk into, a doorway that you haven't been before, you got to own that stuff. You got to go know exactly who you are, right? And you've got to be willing to get out of your own way. Because that old programming, that is heavy stuff. It's heavy. And it is deeply entrenched in your neurotransmitters, right? Your neural pathways have been telling you that and reminding you about that for a very long time. You know this. So to step up, step out, and to make a change, to really do the inner work and decide to go a different direction is a big scary thing. But what I want you to remember is this. Anything that you want in life is there for the taking. Even if it's less responsibility and less work and less stress. I get all the things, yeah. But anything that you want in life is there for the taking. You just have to choose to adapt. You have to choose to be uncomfortable for a bit. You got to choose to evolve, right? Every one of us needs to evolve. We have to be willing to get out of our comfort zone. I have sat through these sessions today. I know what you're being told. I've heard it. You need to move. You need to push. You need to go a little further than you've been comfortable going, because that's the whole point of all of this. Impact makers over and over and over again are learning and growing and pushing the envelope every time. They don't sit back on their laurels expecting that all that charm is going to keep just opening doors for them. They know they have to keep evolving. I'm going to show you a video right now. And for people in my demographic, you might remember this, or at least roughly this time of life. This was 1972. And in 1972, Olga Corbett was the best Olympic gymnast in the world. She won, in fact, the Olympics on this routine that you're going to see right here, okay? Now, 1972, this one.
And she is so gracious, has got so much confidence that she might just do that.
That one. Now, some of you are like, my kid can do that better, right? Because the truth is, okay, we all love Olga, God bless Olga, but you know as well as I do that today, that wouldn't get her in. This is what gold medal looks like. Love, 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 right? So here's the deal. In a matter of 50 years, we saw something that was the best of the best of the best get completely flipped on its head, right? We've seen that almost every session we're talking about, how things have evolved, how we have to grow, how we have to be willing to push the envelope. The same thing has happened for you and I. What worked in your job 5 years ago, now everybody's doing it, right? What was really cool and different, unique, and oh my God, how'd you do that? Can you teach us? Is now like, yeah, well, that's sort of standard now. So when we talk about impact, when we talk about figuring out what your thing is it something you can ride for the rest of your life? The answer is no, right? The fact is, impact makers are constantly evolving. Impact makers are constantly taking risks. They are constantly pushing the envelope, and I'll tell you a secret, they're constantly afraid. They're excited, they're enjoying the process, but they've become buddies with fear. So when we talk about you stepping into these new spaces, I want you to know it's not, cakewalk time. It is scary to all of a sudden find yourself being louder, to raising your hand more, to being involved, to leading meetings, to leading your ERG, or maybe it's, a committee of some sort in the community. Maybe it's opening up that nonprofit. Maybe it's getting a bunch of people to go out in the community on a Saturday. Whatever it looks like to you. Yes, it's scary to do something different. But when you do something different, you actually receive that dopamine dump because it's exciting to see that it worked. It's exciting to see that it happened. Exciting to see that they showed, right? And so that's what I want you to remember. Every bit of this is asking you to do more, but I'm not asking you to be a different person. I'm just asking you to push this much more than you ever have, right? So when we look at impact, the details and the science behind it, there are 3 things that are used. Making them feel, I already told you that one. That's the umbrella pitch for you right there. But here's the detail. Making them feel, making them laugh, and surprising them. That is your trifecta for impact. So when we talk about what impact is, when we talk about impact and what you've seen up here, have I told you a story to make you feel? Have I shown you video to make you feel? Good, bad, feel? The answer is yes. Have I been sarcastic and quirky on purpose to make you laugh? Yeah. Have I shown you video and maybe done it a little bit differently or had a little bit different energy than you've seen? Yeah, I've done that too, to surprise you, right? There's gonna be a lot of this. This is the longest period I talk. The rest of this is play. But I tell you this because I use it too, every day. And I promise you that when I'm the person who is bringing either the feeling, the laughter, or the surprise, I'm the one remembered. Now some people think, man, this is feeling contrived, this is feeling manipulative, this is feeling fake, right? No, if it feels that way, you're doing it wrong. This is when you are becoming your most authentic self. Last night, I had a great conversation, phenomenal conversation with Rebecca. I talked to Heather for a long time. I was talking to Max last night. I was out there having a great time, talking to you. And in those moments, I was completely present with those people. I wasn't thinking, how can I make them laugh? How can I surprise them, right? How can I make them feel? I wasn't thinking about that. Because what I was allowing myself to be is fully authentic and present in the moment. When you are present in the moment and you are authentic, those things happen anyway. It's when we're nervous and we're guarded and we're controlled and we're worried and we're feeling like we're in a fishbowl, we eliminate those first because they're risky. Tracking? Those are risky. If you step out of line and you suddenly start telling emotional stories, becoming funny, hey, pull my finger. If you start doing crazy stuff, right? That's risky because you're not in control. So the first thing, when I get stressed and nervous, that I eliminate are the things I can't control. But those are the things that have the greatest impact on another human being. So I'm trying to get you to flip the script just a little bit, okay? So when we start thinking about these great impact makers, there's actually science behind it. And I want you to think about the people that you know right now. I brought them up earlier and said, think of the people that walk in the room, right? Think about those people right now. Bring them back, right here, forefront. Look what we've got going on here. Somehow, they just have an emotional resonance or an ability to relate, be liked, with just about everybody. Everybody likes it. That person walks in there, hey, everybody leans back a little bit, right? Because we enjoy them. There's an emotional trust and connection. Chances are they're also storytellers. They can work a crowd. Oh my God, you're not gonna believe this, you guys. And everybody goes, oh, right? Because they tell a mean story. Well, here's the deal. The power of storytelling is actually one of those things that is most influential with other people. Why? Because when you tell a good story, I stop thinking about me for a sec. And God, that feels good. It feels good to not worry about me, to think about my crap that's going on in my life, right? And you can get me to disconnect and lodge over there and just sit in your space for a bit. It's the best. And so I tell you this because chances are the person you're thinking of can weave a meme story too. Another thing about these people is that everybody will tell you the same thing about them. Everybody likes them. Everybody says, oh yeah, John, yeah, he is phenomenal. Oh, John, he is a character. John, oh, he'll do it. He'll show. You wait, he'll be there. There's a social proof about them. Everybody knows this, right? We've also got a feeling from impact makers that they're always there to help. They always show up. They're always there to lend a hand. And the reciprocity principle tells us that when you're the first giver, I'll tell you a little secret here, when you're the first giver, people are more apt to respond in kind. So I have a theory in my world that I'm the first giver. I'm not giving so that people give back. I'm giving because you need it. I may not know you, but I give because you need it. And so I'm the first giver. Do I normally get anything back? No. Do I normally get any attention for it? No. Is there praise involved? No. But I'm the first giver. Now, what happens when I'm in need? I need something. And what happens around me? Most of the time, people show up in droves because of the reciprocity principle. I tell you this not because I want you to go out and be a do-gooder. I tell you because we're hungry for community. We're hungry for community. Think about what I'm saying here. Look at you sitting in this room right now. We are hungry for community. So be the first giver. Be the first person who gives. Let the wave begin. Be the first person who's contributing, the first person who's putting interest or time or effort into something. Be the first giver. There was a great study that came out in about 2013, and they were looking at 11th graders in high school. And they were doing a popularity type of all of a sudden my brain just went flat. They were doing a test on how the reciprocal principle works, how likability, that first giver concept works, and they were pairing it with popularity in school. So during this study, that was the word that was gone. So during this study, they had all the kids identify who the most popular kids were in school. Then they went to those kids, and after those kids had been rated, that part I didn't tell you, they rated the kids, like who was the most popular, and who was the second most popular, right? Then they went to those kids, they had 10 kids, and they asked them to write down their list of friends at school. Each child, based on order, fell into line perfectly. If you were looking at the most popular kid, they had the longest list of people they considered friends. Then they went to the second most popular kid, and somehow the same thing happened. Ultimately, what they found in this study is that the kids who were perceived as most likable to all of the other kids that were there were also the kids that were a friend first and saw themselves as a friend to other people first. So the reciprocation concept, reciprocity principle, means that I'm going to give first because I believe it comes back in return. I'm going to be there for others because I believe that people will show up for me, right? Impact makers do this every time. They're the first to sign up for your drive, the first to sign up for your committee, the first to be there with a bag of clothes for the community center that you're going to be going to, right? They're the first ones because they believe in that. Now, another thing you might notice, halo effect is up there. And you probably know this one because people with the it factor also have the halo effect. And the halo effect means that people like them, so somehow trust goes hand in hand. Trust goes hand in hand. So because I like you, my percentage of trust in you increases because I like you as a person. Now, there's another side to halo effect. Halo effect means that the people who are around me are perceived in my halo of having perceived power as well, and influence. So that halo is valuable stuff, right? People believing in you, people liking you, people trusting you, And then all of a sudden, those who are hanging out with you have an increased perception by people around you. Now, as we go a little further, you know some of these. You know about nonverbals. What does your face look like? What is your tone like? You know how important that is, right? Mirror neurons and mimicry means that I am, and I want you to think about this, I have the ability to meet you where you're at through emotional intelligence. So, on this stage, I'm super, loud, all of that. But if we were just chilling, talking outside of this, I would absolutely start to mimic your energy. Not because I'm inauthentic, but because I care about your comfort level. I care that you're comfortable. I care that you're at ease. If I'm coming at you like, hey, how you doing? Want a drink? Let's go do a high five. You would hate me, right? This is reserved for this right here only, okay? Only. But I say that to you because mimicry is actually something that puts you at ease. And I have a small enough ego that I can be a little uncomfortable to meet you where you're at. That's power. And impact makers know how to masterfully put the people around them in a position of comfort, okay? I'll be a little uncomfortable in order for you to be more comfortable. They also have the ability to create urgency with other people. They have the ability to motivate. Kind of goes with the last one too, reward and motivation. They have the ability to get people excited. They have the ability to get people pumped up. And they can use scarcity. We've only got about, 30 minutes to make a decision in. They can get people motivated through time. It's all about method, all about being very influential. And finally, is consistency and commitment. I already talked about this, but they always show up. They always show up. So I bring this all up to you to get you to understand these are things you can do right now to have a greater impact on the people around you, right? To have a greater influence in the projects that you're engaged in, to leave a greater footprint where it is that you're working. There's a company, you all know this company, I won't tell you who it is until the end, but there's a company who was going into a European market in Belgium actually, and this company was looking to do something different. They have a great track record in the US, but they were going to a new market that had never heard from them, and they decided to do something bigger than they've ever done before. And they wanted to make an impact. You're going to watch a video right now, which was their commercial, their Welcome to Belgium commercial, introducing them to a brand new market, diving out, literally biggest swing of a lifetime, all in the name of impact. Check this out. Okay, so that's impact, right? Make them feel, make them laugh, surprise them. Did they cover it? Yeah. Yes. Now, I would watch TV all the time, live TV, if I would have commercials like that, right? And that's probably why we love the Super Bowl. I mean, for obviously the sport thing. But commercials, right? I'm kidding. But the deal is, that is how they made their impact, their footprint, They came busting through the doors in Europe as an American company. I say this to you because all the elements were there, right? When we're talking about impact, even when it comes to people, so in the world of social media, we used to use this concept of sticky branding all the time. But sticky is just as important when it comes to the impact that you leave on other people. What do people think of you? What's the thing that comes to mind first, right? What's the thing that they're going to remember about you? Sticky is a piece of this. And sticky, by the way, is usually what travels when you're not even in the room. So when people are talking about you, when they're sharing you with other people, when they're saying, you gotta meet this guy, it's the stickiness, right? So let me give you an idea of sticky, because again, Hollywood's been using this forever. If I say this to you, 800-588-2300. Right. That's today. Thank you for that. Today. Yes, that's sticky, right? Now, you're all supposed to be working when those commercials are on, during the day, but yeah, we all know them, right? We all know that commercial. How about this? 2 all-beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese. Yes, old people, yes! 1972, thank you for that. How about this one? Oh, we show her an Oscar Mayer wiener. 1962. All right, how about this one? For my younger people in the audience. I don't want to grow up. There you are, 1982, right? So I bring these up to you because the majority of these you were not alive for, right? And yet we know them because there's a stickiness to them. Stickiness means it's what gets stuck on you. It's what I recall, it's what I remember, it's the first thing that comes to mind, right? And so that's our goal with each and every one of you. What is it that people are going to say about you? What is it that people are going to remember about you? I'm going to give you another example here to prove my point even further. Now, I'm going to let you see something, and I'm going to apologize now for the earworm, because this is one of those things that you're going to be singing for a while. But I need you to finish this when it's done. Down, never gonna. Yes, never. Tell a lie, right? And hurry you, yes. Now, why do I bring this up? 1987. 87. All right, I was a junior in high school, and this song came out. We just did fast math, 55, anyone get it? Fast math? Fast math? Okay, so here's the deal. That song came out in 87. And by the way, it was the last new song he put out. He's been working behind the scenes now, all these years, working with artist development, all of that. But here's the deal. This thing has had almost 30-something years, right? Of riprolling, of you knowing the words to this. How many of you, here we go, weren't alive in 1987? Raise your hand. God bless you. Yeah. And you knew the words, right? It's crazy town. Yeah. So I say this to you because there are certain things that stick with us. And I want you thinking about your sticky. I need somebody who just raised their hand. In fact, I know who it's going to be. Come here, Dancing King. You're coming up. Come on up. I need you up here. Your energy was awesome. I need someone, let's see, who's in their 30s. Give me a 30. In their 30s, come on up. I need someone in their 40s. Who's in their 40s? All of a sudden people are like, nope, not born. Not born. Come on up. Come on, you can do this. You can do this. Someone in their 50s. Give me a 50. Yes, come on, come on, come on. Come on. Yes, I need you too. Yes. Someone in their 60s? Anybody? Oh, no. Come on. No? Oh, someone's getting pointed out over here. Yes? Get them to come up. Yes, 60-year-old, come up. Okay, so here's the deal. We're talking sticky. Here she comes. We're talking sticky. And I'm going to test all of these people. And we're going to see just how powerful that stickiness is. And then I want you thinking, what's my sticky, right? What's my thing? What's the thing that enters rooms before I do? What's the thing that's shared with other people about who I am and what I represent, right? And I'm going to tell you right now, it's more than you think it is. Most of us are into doing the basics. I do this for a living, this is my relationship status, this is my politics, and this is my religion. It's more, okay? It's deeper than that. It's the magic, and that's where I want you going. So, all of you up here, your job is to look at them. They are your audience, right? Behind you, you're gonna have some videos up there, but your job is to not look there, all right? I'm gonna I'm gonna play for you some songs, and I guarantee you know the movements to these songs. And almost all of them were before you were born. But you know the dance movements, trust me on this, okay? So let's try the first one here. Don't look. Good job! Okay, you passed, good job. I started with the easy one, obviously, right? Okay, you guys limber, you warmed up? I think you need more room. We need to spread out. Use your stage. Okay, you ready for the next one? Okay. All right, ready? Limber? Yeah? Okay, ready? All right, shake it. You good? All right, here we go, you guys. From the 50s. Y'all ready? Way older. Okay, you can do this. Good job. All right, last one. Now this one's hard. Okay, this one's hard because it was never a formal dance. But everybody knew it. Everybody, ready? Here we go.
Can't touch this. You can't touch this.
Ready?
Break it down.
Good job. All right, give them a hand for that. You might not logically know some things about yourself, but your body knows. You know who you are, right? You know who you are. Your own stickiness is the stuff that you know about yourself. You're aware of who you are. You know what you contribute. It's the magic that everybody always praises you for. It's the stuff that you think, stop. It's not that big of a deal. Yes, it is. It's the stuff you do that no one else does. It's the magic that you bring that you don't think much about because it's just sort of who you've always been. I want you thinking about how to lead with that. I want you thinking about how you can share that. Train people, teach people, share with people that magic. It takes some guts because you gotta be willing to step out. You gotta be willing to make people feel, make them laugh, and surprise them. You gotta be willing to speak more often than not. You gotta be strategic. What we know about people with impact is that there's a strategic swagger about them, and they don't take anything to chance. They also don't leave any options on the table. They go for it every time. I want you thinking about who you are and how you show up. I want you thinking about how you interact with other people. How well do you lift other people up? See, the truth is, every single one of us are here to make people feel better. Yes. We're here to make people happy. We're here to lift up the people around us and do things that are unexpected, to bring joy, to bring happiness, to contribute to our communities. One of the things that I do on the regular is contribute in my own community, whether that's politically, or nonprofit work, or showing up to old folks' homes to change the batteries in their fire alarms. We show up. And I say that to you because that's impact. Anytime you are giving your heart for the betterment of someone else, that's impact. When we start talking about, strategic executive roles, taking care of the people around you, mentoring people, making sure that they are developed as a really strong employee, that's impact, right? But it's also helping the person on the street. It's going over to your neighbor's house and checking on them when they're sick. It's all the stuff that makes your community strong. The thing I was told about you before I got here is that I won't find a stronger community. That when COVID hit and these cities around the country were falling apart, this one did just the opposite. That's impact. And what I want you to realize is that your superpower, whatever that is waiting to lead. It's waiting to be what you're known for. It's waiting to be utilized and exercised more often than it is now, right? I'm going to leave you with this video that changed my life. Several years ago when this movie came out, The Greatest Showman, my husband and I went to go see this movie one Sunday. It had just come out. We were like, it's like 11, what are we going to do? Okay, we'll go. And we were so blown away. I am not a musical person at all. And we were so blown away at this movie that we called up our kid and we said, get your boyfriend at the time, come to the movies, we're going, we got to see this again today. There's a 3 o'clock and a 4 o'clock, you have to come today. So they came. The next day, that night, I'm calling everybody I know. We're taking you to the movies tomorrow. Next day, we saw it 2 more times, right? With parents and friends. Ultimately, Christmas was like 5 days later. We had it at our house. And we're, of course, all sitting around the table, and it's perfect, and we're all, full of decorum and all the things that you do at Christmas when everyone's on their best behavior. And all of a sudden, our kid at the end of the table, I hear this, this table being hit, and this thumping coming from the table. So I'm like, what is going on down there? And all of a sudden, more people at the table start doing it too. And before I knew it, the entire table was up. Our daughter had taken the video of this song on her phone, and that whole end of the table stood up. Then eventually the rest of us, the old people, stood up, right? And we're all singing Christmas Dinner Be Damned. Nobody cares anymore, right? Because we're in the moment and we're having such an incredible time. That is without question the best Christmas I've ever experienced in my life. It wasn't just the movie. It was the way it impacted my whole family. So I'm going to leave you with this, because a lot of you have been hiding your superpower. You've been holding back from letting that authentic mojo and juju and superpower hang out. And I want to remind you of why we're here, because I want you to do more of what you love. I want you to have more fun. I want you to actually be in love with the things you're committing to, because that's what impact affords you. So I'm going to leave you with this video, and we'll wrap it up in a couple moments.
Benji and Justin just written this new song called This Is Me, and we knew that it was going to be the anthem of the film, but no one had heard it before, and no one had heard Kiala sing it live. And Kiala, who I didn't even want to come out from behind the music stand.
I didn't.
I kept saying to her, just step out, because this is your moment and you have to step out into the ring, metaphorically, because that's what you're doing, and you've got to stand right there in front of everyone and just belt this out.
And I didn't want to. In fact, I stood behind that music stand until the day of that presentation. There was a moment in the song that I actually was so scared that I had to actually grab Hugh's hand so that I had somebody to hold on to. And then we got to the end of the number, and all I remember is just deafening applause. It was a sort of otherworldly experience.
It was one of those moments that will stay with me the rest of my life. Unfortunately, we filmed it.
I'm not a stranger to the dark. Make them feel, make them laugh, surprise them, right? That is what moves people. And when I think about that Christmas and that song at the end of the table, and I think about how that movie has moved me, has given me bravery, has given me courage, has reminded me of my authentic, goofy self, and I dance and I do kooky things, I do it because it's joyful, right? And I do it because I know that it's what moves the people around me. When I can be as authentic and open and hyperactive about things that move me and I can then share it with you, you catch the wave. What I want from you now is for you to figure out what's your impact, what's your superpower, because your impact is your currency. Those teachers who would give me U's and citizenship every single day. Let me say something very personal to you, then I'm gonna wrap it up. We're hitting a critical point in this country on a human level. And I want love again. I want love again. I want you to love what you do. I want you to love why you do it, and I want you to love who you do it with. Because there is no more room for anything but leading with love. And I hope when your authentic self gets to step forward and we were reminded of who we are and why we're here, I hope you will live authentically and joyfully in that space, because the world is waiting on what you have. This is your lock and your key, and we need you to step forward. Thank you so much for having me.